Today, we're deconstructing one of the most popular self-improvement books out there, James Clear's Atomic Habits. We're going to boil down the core principles and give you the actionable stuff, the framework that has seriously helped millions of people. All right, let's get right into it. You know the feeling, right? You start the year with these huge goals. You're going to exercise more, read more, waste less time. But then a few weeks in, you're kind of right back where you started. It's this universal frustration, feeling like you're stuck in a loop you just can't seem to break. But here's the thing. What if the problem isn't you? What if it has nothing to do with a lack of willpower or motivation? The core argument from James Clear is that bad habits keep repeating themselves not because you don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. And that really gets us to the heart of the book. See, real, lasting change, it doesn't come from these massive, earth-shattering moments. Nope. It comes from the small, almost unnoticeable things you do every single day. So let's dig into this first big idea, the incredible compounding power of tiny improvements. This is really where the atomic in Atomic Habits comes into play. The whole book is built around this one simple but honestly profound number. The goal isn't to be perfect overnight. It's just to get 1% better every single day. I know it sounds tiny, but the math behind it, it's staggering. And check this out. When you look at the math, you see the trajectory. Improving by just 1% a day for a year doesn't make you 365% better. Because of compounding, you actually become nearly 38 times better. But look at the flip side. Getting 1% worse every day brings you almost down to zero. Good habits make time your ally, bad ones make it your enemy. But here's the catch, and this is so important. Those amazing results, they're delayed. We expect our progress to be this nice, neat, straight line. But in reality, we almost always hit this valley of disappointments. It's what Clear calls the Plateau of Latent Potential. It's that frustrating phase where you're putting in the work, you're doing the reps, but you haven't hit that critical point to see the big breakthrough. Not yet, anyway. So let's look at this in action. For almost 100 years, the British cycling team was, well, let's just say, they weren't exactly winning a lot. Then, in 2003, this guy named Dave Brailsford takes over. He didn't look for some single miracle cure. Instead, he got obsessed with what he called the aggregation of marginal gains, improving absolutely everything by just 1%. The bike seats, the tires, the massage gels, even the pillows the athletes slept on. And the result? 5 years later, they were dominating the sport. That's the power of tiny gains. Okay, this brings us to the next crucial idea. If you want better results, the book argues you've actually got to stop focusing so much on your goals. This quote, man, this is one of the most powerful lines in the entire book. A goal can give you a direction, for sure, but it's your system, that collection of your daily habits, that actually determines whether you make any progress. So let's break that down a bit more. A goal is a result, right? Like win a championship. But think about it. Winners and losers often have the exact same goal. The system, on the other hand, is the process. It's what you do in practice every single day. A system isn't about winning one game. It's about making sure you can keep playing the game, continuously getting better. Claire breaks down behavior change into these 3 layers. You've got the outer layer, changing your outcomes. That's the results. The middle layer is changing your processes. Those are your habits. But the deepest, most fundamental layer, that's changing your identity, what you believe about yourself. And this, right here, is the core of identity-based habits. The goal isn't just to achieve something, it's to become someone. Every single time you perform a habit, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. Every time you read a single page, you're casting a vote that says, I am a reader. Okay, so we get the philosophy. It's powerful stuff. But how do we actually do it? How do we put it into practice? Let's get into the actionable framework that makes all of this possible, the 4 laws of behavior change. This is it, this simple set of rules for building good habits. And if you want to break a bad habit, you just flip them. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. Let's look at a couple of key techniques here. So to make a new habit obvious, you can use one of your existing routines as a trigger. This is called habit stacking, and it is so smart. The formula is simple. You just piggyback a new behavior you want to start onto a habit you already do automatically. What's so powerful about this is that it creates this incredible momentum of positive choices. Your first habit becomes the cue for the second, which becomes the cue for the third, and you get this chain reaction.
It turns a bunch of scattered actions into one cohesive automatic routine.
And the other laws are just as powerful. To make a habit attractive, you bundle it with something you already want to do. For example, you only let yourself watch your favorite show while you're on the exercise bike. To make it easy, you have to reduce the friction. This is where the 2-minute rule comes in. You just scale any new habit down so it takes less than 2 minutes. Read before bed becomes read one page. Finally, to make it satisfying, you need an immediate reward. And the simplest way to do that? Just track it. The simple act of putting a big X on a calendar gives your brain a little hit of success, which makes you want to do it all over again. Okay, now the framework in Atomic Habits is incredibly useful, but it is important to look at it with a little bit of nuance. So let's move into a quick reality check based on some broader scientific research. I mean, the ideas are so catchy, they're inspiring, and for so many people, they really do work. But as habit researchers like Dr. Gina Cleo point out, some of these concepts are really useful simplifications of a much more complex reality. So let's just break this down. That 1% rule, it's a fantastic metaphor, but real-world progress is messy. It's non-linear. That famous 66 days to form a habit, well, that was just the average from one study. The actual range is huge, anywhere from 18 to over 250 days. And for getting goals, research actually shows that clear, challenging goals are really powerful motivators that work with your systems. And maybe the most important point, some bad habits aren't just about a broken reward loop. If a habit stems from trauma or deep-seated stress, it often requires healing, not just a clever hack. So does this mean the book is wrong? Absolutely not. It just means that its framework is a powerful starting point, but it's not a universal magic bullet. Understanding these nuances is really the key to adapting these brilliant strategies to your own life, your own unique circumstances. And that really brings us to the end. Atomic Habits gives us a brilliant system for change, all grounded in these small, consistent actions. But its greatest value might just be in getting you to ask yourself this one simple question. What tiny, almost effortless action, if you did it every day, could set you on a completely new path?